Hello there everybody and welcome back to Movie Squirm. Today I'm going to be reviewing the 2025 film Weapons, and this is directed by Zach Cregger and stars Julia Garner and Josh Brolin. When 17 kids from the same classroom get up in the middle of the night and disappear, questions and tensions rise from the community on what actually happened. Well guys, going into this one, I wasn't too excited in all honesty, probably because we had Together coming out the week after and I was looking forward to that movie more than this one, just because of all the early buzz I'd heard and everything. And Zach Cregger didn't really do it for me too much with Barbarian. I liked a lot of aspects of that movie, but some of it, I don't know, I thought it was a little bit overrated by everyone that year. But going into this one, I'd hit a lot of hype, a lot of praise, 5 out of 5, 10 out of 10 movie reviews, and I was like, there must be something here. Now, I had seen little bits of the trailer, like the first 30 seconds or something. I knew the concept, and it did intrigue me a little bit, but I just wanted to go into this one level-headed, not get my expectations too high, and just try and enjoy the movie. And I was just had the thought at the back of my mind, is this movie going to be overhyped? Well, I'm here to safely say that that answer is no. This movie is incredible.
Are you watching?
Now, I will say this is a very cool, unique, and fresh concept. I think we've had a lot of them in horror over the years. Maybe not movies overall, but I do think the horror genre has thrived in the past 5 years. I know we've had a lot of good movies before that, but in general, the last 5 years has been so strong since 2020, and this is no exception. I mean, seeing all these kids go missing and everything, you are wondering what the hell is going on and how this story is going to unravel. But it's all good having these fresh new ideas and everything. You've got to execute it right. And like I said, this movie was incredible, and Zach Cregger just done such a good job with this film. There is so much intrigue, mystery, wonder built into this story from the off, really, and it never ever stops. You are constantly fed bits of information from lots of different characters, lots of different scenarios, just different things happening here and there. And after each of these segments, I was just scratching my head even more, because you just can't even comprehend how this story is going to turn out. I even turned to my friend at one point and whispered to him and just said, what the hell is going on here, man? But you are so invested. This movie absolutely pulls you in from minute one and never lets go until the final few seconds. Now, what this movie does is jump in between characters. We see this film from about 6 or 7 different characters' perspectives and how it has worked out for them and where they were when this thing happened. And, you know, sometimes we will see these characters overlap each other and then we'll jump to the different character and see that same scenario from that character's eyes, really. But that was a really fun thing to do with this movie. I just think it makes the story be told even better. I haven't seen a movie do this for quite a while, you know, just jumping from character to character and spending so much time with them to get to know them and everything, but more importantly, how they see this mystery and why it hasn't been solved and what they think is going on. And I just, it really does give off a really great small town feel to it as well. Like, everyone is integrated into this community. Everyone knows each other, you know, and there is a lot of sort of blaming going on here. A lot of people are turning on Julia Garner's character because she is the teacher who is in this classroom. And you really do feel sorry for her, because the movie opens up with you seeing her point of view. And then we will jump to, let's say, Josh Brolin's character, who has one of the kids who went missing, and he's kind of blaming her with the rest of the community, you know, saying, what the hell has been going on in this classroom? And pointing the finger at Julia Garner, and you can see his point of view, even though he may be wrong with that. So the movie brings up lots of questions about the characters, but you can sort of relate to why they are bringing up, you know, and pointing the finger and bringing up these questions. But what I really loved about it most is that you will see scenarios happen with these characters that seem to not make much sense. And then it will all unravel, you know, towards the third act. And it's just a very well-written movie. But my friend, after the movie, said one thing that really sort of did annoy him a little bit is these stories or these little segments of these characters will end on a little bit of a cliffhanger. Something big will happen, and then we will go back to a different character's perspective. I went, I just really found that quite annoying. But I totally disagree with that, because it is worth the wait when we come back to them scenarios. More towards the end of this segment or in the third act, when it's kind of unraveled what is actually happening there. It just finishes a segment and you're like, where is that going? And the payoff is so damn good. So yeah, I just love the way Zach Cregger decided to storyboard this film and tell it from all these different perspectives. It was just such an interesting and, unique way of doing this movie. But I gotta say, the performances here from this very well stacked cast were awesome. Everyone put their heart and soul into it. You could tell they all believed in this script and this project. And while nothing is gonna be performance of the year or anything, they are all just very solid 8, 9 out of 10 performances that, just make this movie work, especially the way we're jumping in between these characters. But they've all got personality. You've got Josh Brolin, who's this kind of hard-ass character who wants to get into the bottom of things and do his own detective work. So you go along that little journey with him. And you got Julia Garner's character, who everyone's pointing the finger at, and you really feel sorry for her. You kind of latch onto her because, it's not fair on her, basically, and her world's just come crumbling down. And you see it from her perspective. And we got the young kid, Alex, who is the only kid who was left in this classroom who didn't go missing. And you're wondering what his involvement is. So we go along for the ride with him through his eyes and his perspective. And we've got this cop who's just feels like a random character chasing down this other guy who is basically like a heroin addict. And you wonder where this fits in with the story, but it just does. And that was probably my favorite segments, really, between these two. We see it from this cop's point of view and then this drug taker's point of view. So I love the back and forth between those two as well. But man, it's just got everything, this movie. Everything you want in a small town feeling story is here. And I just really loved it. I love the personalities, love the characters in this. And yeah, it just all worked. But Cregger's directing here really does play a part as well. We will see a scenario happen with these characters from one perspective, and then we will see that same scenario happen again from a different character's perspective. But basically, Zach Cregger is directing it from a totally different angle. But it's just fun to see how they approach this situation and it's the same situation we've just seen from another person's point of view, basically. But there's a few chase scenes in this movie that is done so well from the first person point of view in cars and everything, and other characters running as well from their point of view. We've got some great jump scares here, like some skin crawling moments, which is one of the best things he did about Barbarian. That is a movie, even though I wasn't too hot on it, it actually scared me, that staircase scene. There's a few moments like this where things are just happening in the background. So much tension is built. And I gotta say, guys, I can usually telegraph jump scares, but he got me on a couple of occasions. One towards the end especially, where I just jumped out my seat there. I remember this young girl who was next to me in it with her boyfriend, and every time one of these moments was happening, I just heard her say to him, "Oh my god." She must have said it about 8 or 9 times throughout the movie. So yeah, the movie does a great job of getting under your skin. I gotta say, guys, when it all comes together towards the end, it is absolutely masterful the way this movie plays out, unravels itself, and reveals itself. You think you know some things that may be happening throughout this film, and other things you are scratching your head, but never in a million years would I have seen where this movie was going. So that is a kudos to the direction, the script, everyone who worked on this movie. It was such a nice surprise, and that last 15 minutes was just incredible. What a great end to the third act here. It's totally worth the wait after all the build up and everything with these characters and this story. Man, I can't wait to watch this movie again. I mean, the ending, by the time it happens, makes the movie even better. So I only really have one little nitpick with this film, and I had it as a major negative as the movie was going on. But then the movie addresses it, which is, I was like, okay, all my fears are quashed there. I just don't think it addresses it enough. And it's very hard to talk about this without doing spoilers, but it involves something to do with the young character, Alex, and how he is being looked at, basically. That's all I'm going to say about that. I just think it kind of rushed that segment just a little tiny bit, but it's a minor nitpick because the movie does address it, and I applaud it for that. I just think we could have spent a little bit more time on that, just a little bit, to feel fully satisfied. But overall, that's the only negative I have with Weapons. But guys, I've been thinking about this movie all day. I love it when films do that, when they just constantly got you thinking. You can't wait to see it again. Definitely going to be grabbing this on 4K. My wife didn't actually come with me. I went with my friend, so I might go and see it again. I really wanted her to see this movie on the big screen. Yeah, it's just a fantastic story, played out like a jigsaw puzzle being built in front of your very eyes. When you look at it, when it's all built, it looks fantastic, and that's exactly what this movie felt like. Okay guys, I'm just going to go ahead and rate this movie now. I'm going to give Weapons a 9 out of 10. Yep, this is my #1 movie of the year so far. Okay guys, at the end of these reviews, I always like to leave a little fun fact. Now, a fun fact for Weapons is that Netflix were prepared to pay more money than New Line to get this movie on their streaming services. And I just want to say this one thing. Thank fuck they never, because this was such a ride, such a thrill ride to see on the big iSense screen that I went to at my local Odeon. Definitely go and see this at the cinema if you can, guys. Okay, guys, hope you all enjoyed this review. What did you think of Weapons? Please do let me know in the comments down below. What's your film of the year? Is it Weapons? Was this overhyped for you? I'll try and get back to you all, I promise. Please give this video a like and subscribe to this channel if horror is your sort of thing. And if you want more 2025 horror movie reviews, they'll be in the link down below. Thanks so much, guys. You all take care, and I'll see you all in the next video.